Hi, folks, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Viktor podcast. I'll be shortly talking to Olga Timea, the founder of Art Life Diary, a company dedicated to support people with development tools such as journals, yoga retreats, and journalism workshops. Originally Romanian and from a Hungarian family, Olga has been living in Madrid for 17 years, and the theme of identity is another we will go through. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and express your gratitude by pressing the like button below. I would also appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. And I see you in a sec. Hi, Olga. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. Such an honor. I appreciate your job and your podcast and all the great work you do.
Well, thanks
Thank
very
you.
much for the compliments. Yeah, they are mutual. I'm also very impressed with your journey, with the stuff you took on, especially since COVID, which was for me an act of bravery. To start something so challenging in uncertain times. So I'm sure you can give a lot of advice for people who are thinking to go next step, but they are unsure of how is it. And I think adventure and risk is not something unknown to you, since you are living abroad for 17 years, which is actually the same years as me, which is an interesting coincidence. So, can you tell me, like, what did you learn from being abroad, from being an expat for 17 years? Like, what were your main takeaways, lessons, uh, growth? Can you take me through that journey?
Yeah, actually, I learned that we didn't came here to find happiness. We came here to serve and learn. That's what I learned in the 17 years of abroad. And Spain is the best country to start over. It's easy to start, and after a few years, you almost forget that you're not Spanish. You take the step with the Spanish society so fast. Everything is so easy. I think it was the best country to choose and start over. But
Mm.
yeah, that's what I learned. That we are coming here to serve and learn, which is really important.
Yeah, I like that approach, serve and learn, because that will open your mind right away. Because you cannot be in that position if you are not exposed to others, and that's an essential role that we all need to take sooner or later in our life, and it's probably a big path to development. So, how did you get into this serve and learn? Did anything happen with you or around you that helped you to orientate your life that way, or how was it?
Yeah, the Spaniards generally, but also my you have to speak, you have to let people know what are your dreams, what do you want. For example, I was imagine that a short example, working as a fitness trainer in a gym. My dream was to work in
Mm.
an airport. Okay, and you have to speak with people, you have to let people know what are your dreams, what would you like, and there's always someone who can help you, and just if they have the opportunity to talk with someone and they hear that there is a job opportunity at the airport. They know that Olga told me once that she wants
Mm.
to work at the airport. That's what happened. And then they let me know, Olga, listen, this company is looking for people. And then working at American Airlines at the airport here in Madrid, I used to work for with the U.S. immigration people. And I always used to tell them, listen, this world of you, it's so amazing. I wish I could have the opportunity
Mm.
to learn something. And then I got into the U.S. Embassy working for the U.S. ambassador. So you always have to talk about your dream, not that only dreaming and writing and imagining what would like. You have to be able to communicate with the world what are your dreams, and that's the next step and the next step. And then um, being communicative with the people and let them know. And as I told you, Spaniards are really helpful.
Yeah.
And I always was able to communicate that I always wanted to learn more and more and more.
Yeah, yeah, that's the journey. They say
Yeah,
your net worth is your network, and it's exactly like that. The people who are around you, they'll have a huge impact on who you are, where are you going to be afterwards, and they will definitely have a stake in your dreams. So they are so important. So I think one of the biggest decisions in your life is who do you sit with, who do you talk to, with whom do you spend your time. So that's essential. So I think, yeah, communication, as I say, communication is key. And we just started the podcast, and you already mentioned the airport 2 or 3 times, and I was thinking that's something that we cannot avoid. So I'm glad you brought it to the stage. So did you work at the airport for some time? Was it airport operations, or was it as a cabin crew, or both?
No, airport operation. Airport.
Mm.
I started with a vendor. The vendor was working for American Airlines, and once I got, because you have to start. I mean, I'm coming from Eastern Europe. They teach you be humble, maybe a little bit too humble, and you have your brain is wired to start um, from a low position, and then you have to grow. This is our culture. That's how we were born and raised, and that's how our brain is wired. Now, with my experience, I think I would take other steps, but because I was raised in a humble culture, that's how I started here. So the same thing happened with the vendor. I communicated with everyone that I wanted to be part of American Airlines. I was happy and grateful for the opportunity to work for the vendor, but I always let everyone know
Mm.
without any, like, really transparent. I didn't find the easy way. I want you to watch me how I work. I want you to
Mm.
watch me who I am, and when I have the opportunity, I want to step into the company. And that was my first week at the airport, letting everyone know that I'm happy with the vendor, but I need to go there. That's
Mm.
who I am. Really
Yeah.
grateful, enjoy a lot. That's not that I'm an ungrateful person or I always wanted more. Learning and having new experiences, that's part of my identity. And always being transparent and let people know, again, what do you want, you know? And that's how I started. And then in 2 years, which can be not too much, but working every day and waiting for the opportunity can be eternal.
Yeah.
But one day came the opportunity, and I stepped from the vendor straight to the company, to the American Airlines, and I've been working with them for 15 years.
Wow, that's quite a lot, and for me, it's telling. If someone as ambitious as you, and ambition is not a bad thing, because people these days tend to have a negative connotation of ambition, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it is. If ambition, it's all about pursuing your passion and your interests. There's nothing
That's
wrong with that. It's actually what we all should strive for. Is having a path, having a goal, and aiming that direction with respect of people who are on the way, and be always ethical. So I think it's very good, and I think there's nothing more rewarding than achieving what you want, especially if it takes that much of time. Because 2 years, as you said, when you're waiting for something, it can be a long wait, but when you get there, I think it makes all sense.
and hard work. You know that they are watching you. You let them
Mm.
know what you want, and you know they are watching you. And then the pressure is different. You have to
Mm.
you have to be impeccable and mark the difference when you're working. You have to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and uh,
healthy ambitions, full of ethic and values, and mixed with hard work. Yeah, it's a healthy ambition.
yeah, well, 100%. And you just mentioned Eastern European culture, with which I'm familiar because I spent around 5 years in Central Eastern Europe between Poland and Hungary. So I'm relatively familiar with the values, with what people care, what matters the most. So I have a good understanding of that. And I know you guys, when you come to Western Europe, you always are seen as very hardworking type. So there is a reputation about it, and I know most people meet that expectation, and I'm sure you do, but it's not always the case. How do you handle, being seen as Romanian and Eastern European in Spain and Western Europe in general? It comes with a price.
Yeah, it comes. But what I learned is this 17 years that you have to be careful because we were raised really humble, too humble. So there's a really thin line between being humble and being humiliated. And not in a wrong way, okay? But there's a really thin line between being too humble and being humiliated. But is everyone is responsible to defend their own dignity. And how do you do that? Like, borders, boundaries. You always have, but how you put boundaries and borders, and how you defend your dignity through hard work.
Yeah.
And always learning, because in that way, when you say, exactly when you say something, why you say it. So that's another podcast about being humble. We could do another podcast about it. I could talk about over and over. But
we can do 10 podcasts out of this conversation. I'm sure about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to be really careful. Like, you have to do the hard work, but always value yourself and defend your dignity. Because it's a thin line there, being an Eastern Europe, Eastern European.
Yeah.
But you have to defend yourself there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree with one thing you refer, which is the results. Like, there's nothing better to show the others than the results, because you can say you are X, and they still see you as Z. Now you can try to send that message, and they understand something else. But if the results are there and they are objective, they are undisputable. So there's nothing better than hard work and the outcome of your efforts, because they are just there, they are tangible, and there's nothing that people can do about it, because you get to those numbers or those figures or whatever is the result of your actions, and that's it. So people will actually, I think people will remind you more from your actions than from your words or from your looks. It's more about what you bring to the table than how you smell and how you smile,
which is really important too.
It matters.
It's
It
really
matters.
important
It matters.
too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
mix
matters.
of small details that creates your identity in the society.
Absolutely. So you touch now the point of image, and we cannot detach from our own bodies. How we express ourselves, how we look at others, energy that come out of our emotions, thoughts, words. Of course, it's very, very important to be mindful how we present ourselves to others, because that's the first impression we give to people. It's how we look. Then we can put effort to try to tell them they're not exactly how we look, or there was something strange about that. But yeah, that will remain. First impressions, you can never get rid of them. Let me just go back to Romania. So where in Romania were you raised? I know it's Transylvania, but I'm very curious, where in Transylvania were you raised?
My city, it's a small medieval city called Târgu Mureș.
Yeah.
It's like 600 kilometers from, maybe a little bit less, from Bucharest. And 3 hours from border of Hungary.
3 hours, yeah. What's the Hungarian name for Târgu Mureș? I'm interested in
Moros
the Hungarian.
vásárhely.
Never
Moros,
heard about that
like
one.
Mureș,
Yeah.
it's a river, Mureș,
Yeah.
Moros. And vásárhely, it's like a market. So it's the market of the river. You know, I'm going to make a small parenthesis with the Hungarian language. Sounds really difficult and like really strange, but I can tell you it's one of the most sensible languages. I speak a few languages, but it's the most sensible language with a lot of meanings. So I'm going to give you 2 examples, okay? Love in Hungarian means szeretlek, which is feeding the man, feeding the person, feeding. Alimentar el ser in Spanish would be, sounds really beautiful. Like, and then, let me give you another one. Afraid. Afraid in Hungarian, fél elem, half of element.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. That tells a lot about the people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Every single word has its meaning, and the beautiful one. Yeah. So that's
Hungarian your first language or Romanian?
It's my first language, Hungarian. My
So
mother tongue.
Well, let's say when you are talking to yourself, you know, when you are just going through your thoughts, trying to understand what next, how are you doing, which language do you use? Is
Hungarian.
it Hungarian, still Hungarian? Yeah.
Sometimes English.
No Spanish?
But no, yeah, it can be Spanish too, but my main thoughts are always in Hungarian.
That's interesting. So you keep that. So I think that will answer my next question is, in which language do you dream?
Hungarian.
So those are Hungarian dreams. Yeah.
Depends who are getting in my dreams.
Okay, let's not get too much into that. That's too confidential on camera. I'm happy with knowing the language. I don't need to know who are the characters of the dreams and what's happening. So you speak a lot of language. You speak great English. I'm sure you are totally comfortable with Spanish after 17 years, especially because Romanian is not that different from Spanish. That's something I would like to highlight for the audience out there, because I know in Western Europe, some people tend to think that Romanian needs some language similar to Russian. Not at all, guys. If that's what you think, there's no relation whatsoever between Russian and Romanian. Romanian is a Latin language, isn't it?
Actually, it's most Latin. I mean, if I have to, now that I speak Romanian, or when I was young, Latin was a mandatory language at school. Even if it's part of a Latin language, Spanish, Italian, French, Romanian is the only language. If you speak Latin, and I speak Romanian, we understand each other. Other languages, other Latin languages, you need to learn Latin. You don't understand Latin. Actually, Romanian is the most Latin language I know. And I think it's proof that it's the most Latin language from all the Latin languages from the Latin family.
So in doubt, here we have the proof. It's not even a Latin language, it's the most Latin language.
It's the most Latin language.
So what other language do you speak other than these 4? Is there any other you could?
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to live in Austria. And I used to be a German speaker, but you need to practice all these languages. Yeah. So I can tell you that I can be a basic just right now in German, but if I go to Austria and I stay with them for a while, I'm perfectly fine. And then when I was really young, I used to work as a public relation manager for Italian company called Caffè Gelato, and I used to speak really well Italian too. But I don't practice these two languages, so I can be basic just right now today.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
And you
perfectly
cannot do
understand.
it all. You have your corporate job, and then have all your projects. And if you want to still speak another language, you will need more than 25 hours in a day, which is a struggle I'm very familiar with. When you are so ambitious and you want to get involved in more and more projects, you always feel that you are sleeping too much, or maybe you should, I don't know, rearrange your agenda that you can get busy with this project and the other. It's a struggle, but you don't seem to be afraid of that struggle, because your art life diary, your foundation, started in the middle of COVID, which is something that will astonish most people out there, including me. I cannot see you, Olga.
Sorry, I think
Are you
someone
right
just
back?
called
Yeah.
me. I'm sorry. Is it okay?
No problem. No problem. It's fine. It's fine now. You are gone again.
Yeah, is it okay? Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
I can, no problem at all.
Okay.
So I was just telling how brave you were to start your business venture in the middle of COVID. I think it was 2020, 2021, which was the first time we connected.
2020.
So we're all at home. Most people were very much afraid of the future, if not of the present. And you just started to go next level. So can you take us through that beginning?
Yes. So 2020, I used to work for an airline company, and then everything was locked down. First thing, it was locked down the airports. So I got sick of COVID, and I was home. I'm thinking on everything all the great things I had the opportunity to learn and do in the last 10 years. And I started like a personal interior discovering of me, and realizing, talking about being humble, that even if I had the chance and all my dreams were coming true, I never valued that, because I was suffering about there's the impostor
Yes, syndrome. Yeah.
syndrome. I never thought about it like a syndrome, but I just realized that I never valued. I always had the sensation that someone did me a favor. It wasn't like impostor syndrome, because I didn't have the sensation and I cheated to get there, but I always acted like that they did me a favor to get to do all these great things, which wasn't true. I worked hard for that, but that was the first moment that I figured out. I realized that I never really valued myself at the level of the great things that I had the opportunity to learn and do, and started to read a lot, and started a meditation. I used to meditate before COVID, but then I started to meditate really, really consciously and disciplined. And I started like an interior development, and I was afraid to get in the vicious circle of Netflix, and all the great things were happening during COVID, which was funny. And I started to do my own diary routine, creating like a small organizational diary. And one day, after meditating and doing all these routines for myself for the week, I just realized maybe I could create something with it. And that's why I didn't know anything about artificial intelligence on that time. I started to research how to use artificial intelligence, how to create something online, and then I discovered Canva. Google University, I used to call Google and YouTube University, helped me, because every step I was taking, I was researching somewhere how to do that step, how to discover, how to create, how to find. And I used to work for 12, 14 hours per day on it during COVID. I was working more hard than I used to work at the airport before COVID.
I hope your
And
boss
that's
is not
how
listening to this. Yeah.
yeah, and that's how art life was created, like being a personal um, diary project. I created a diary physically. It's here. I have it here.
Very nice.
Yeah, it started as an agenda.
Mhm.
But during COVID, I had to find a strategy. We didn't know what's going to happen, right? What if I do an agenda for 2021? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So you are gone again?
Yeah, So can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was asking myself, what if I do an agenda for 2021 and there is no 2021, because of COVID? What if I do a 2022 and there is no 2022? Because it was crazy. We didn't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So starting as an agenda, then I strategically, I prepared it. Look, I'm going to open ones that is not mine, and I'm going to show you. I created a diary, organizational. So there's one page with morning routines and priorities and food discipline, and another page with like an open space for your plans, for your dreams, it's your space, right? And there is no calendar in it. So COVID helped me strategically to create that, and then I'm not limited to sell the diary in a specific year, and it was amazing creating it. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see. I think I saw a couple of samples.
And it's beautiful because so this is Art Life. This is Art Life Diary, which is.
Are you the author of the cover, or is there someone else working on it?
I created everything.
Oh wow!
I created
well
everything,
well done.
and I wanted to be something special, with nothing like sustainable, nothing plastic. No, it's sold here. It's really special.
It's beautiful.
It is. And then there is no calendar in it, so you just use today. So you own the moment, right? You organize yourself. You don't feel guilty if you didn't use the diary the day earlier. And then you have a statement every day, like I love my life, I honor my process. I created like a small motivational quote for every day. And then I am grateful for. So you organize, your grateful routine for the mornings or for the nights, whatever. It's something that it's emotional. You use it when you want. You write your grateful discipline whenever you're ready. So it's like an open space for everyone, right? And can you see that this is a little bit? Sorry, this is a little bit organizational.
Yeah, the other one is a journey,
like,
isn't it?
Yeah,
a journey.
My journey. So you organize yourself. So it's a tool that I can give you the tool, but who needs to create your discipline? It's yourself. I can tell you how to be happy. I can tell you how to be disciplined, but I can give you a tool with small routines to organize, your daily routine. Sorry.
So how do you discipline yourself? I'll be very interested in knowing your insights, because you managed to create, such a beautiful diary in tough times. So how do you organize your schedule?
Easy. Everyone asks me, how do you have time to do so many things? I never struggle with times. And I think the first thing, meditating gives you the ability to organize time. you know, if you take that 10 minutes in the mornings to meditate and give that breathing to leave space for, because I always say breathing, it opens your mind, it opens your body, and you're able to process every moment. I never ever struggle with time. And I used to be a person who always got late everywhere. Everyone knows me because, if we need a meeting, let's tell Olga 1 hour earlier, she will be able to get here.
Yeah.
But during COVID, meditating, I opened like some, I think with breathings, I started to process my time with any struggle, like everything was so easy, and everything is still easy. I think I just prioritize, like when I do yoga, I don't think about my diaries. When I work on my diaries, once I finish the diaries, I take the next step. And
It's
I
one
think
thing at a time.
Exactly. I think owning the moment when you do something, it gives you time to take the next step and the next step, and never struggle about. I never struggle about time.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Because now I speak a little bit from my interior. Does that make sense?
100%. I'm of the opinion, which is something controversial, but I'm not for being controversial anyway, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
I think when people say they don't have time, I don't truly believe. I think they don't find time. That's a different thing. Because the time is there. They are not able to find it. So, because time is something we all avail, we all have. Just some people are managing better than others because everyone has 24 hours in a day. Everyone has duties. Everyone has people to take care of, including taking care of themselves. Everyone needs to pay their bills. Everyone, has responsibilities. Yeah. But how they organize themselves to get things done is what makes a difference. Because in the end of the day, the resources are not that different between individuals and the struggles. Okay, some people have more to do than others. Okay, that can have an impact. But in general, we are all struggling to get to the things we want to get done. So I think it's all about the decisions, as you said, and prioritizing what matters the most. And meditation, I believe, will help, because meditation probably will be the first step, because it's when you reconnect with yourself and you decide, okay, this is, you do kind of filtration, like, okay, this matters a lot. This doesn't matter as much. This doesn't matter as much as I expected. Actually, this is not that relevant. And when you start doing this triage, then all of a sudden you have a lot of time. Like, since I started the podcast, I've been extremely busy. And let's say if I would drop the podcast tomorrow, God forbid, I would have a lot of time that I didn't know I had in the past. So when you get into those big projects and you get them done, then you notice that there is so much free time. Just you end up sitting on the couch, watching Netflix, scrolling on the internet, and it's all about the right decision.
You do that too, it's like we all do that. I don't watch really TV, usually I don't, but sometimes when I need to just disconnect for everything, I can just have my glass of wine and watch a good movie sometimes. But that's the less I do TV. It's the less I do. Like, I always, because I work on different projects and I have my regular job. But sometimes you need to do that. But I think the main thing to organize time is that you do one thing for time, and you are wired on that, what you do, and then you do the next thing and you're wired, and you just dedicate on that. Because I think time problem is when in your head you mix everything, and then you get overwhelmed. And then you just don't process what it's important to be processed. That's how I think. That's how I figured it out. I don't know.
Is it something that you also learned from doing yoga?
Yes, yes. Um, Yoga and meditation are two things connected with breathing.
Mm.
And I think breathing it's something that we give them, like we take it for granted,
Yes.
and sometimes you almost forget to breathe, you know.
Mm.
Like sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you don't breathe, you don't figure out that you don't breathe, like you breathe automatically. But and I learned the way of breathing through your nose. I learned from a yoga teacher, your mouth is for eating, not for breathing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, and since I learned to breathe only through my nose,
Mm.
things changed a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I think there is a crisis of breathing. I think people are very bad at breathing because they take it
Mhm.
for granted. They think that
Mhm.
everyone knows how to breathe because they have been breathing since they were born. But it's not exactly like that, you know. Just because you are doing something since you were little, it doesn't mean that you are doing that well. You might be doing a mistake for your whole life. And I'm not saying, not talking about people. I'm sure I did that, you know, maybe not about breathing, but other things. I did it for, you know, for decades. Just learned like a couple of years ago. So, you know, I think one of the biggest mistakes actually from the humans is to take for granted, and breathing is one of them. We need to unlearn a lot of the stuff we were told. You need to at least rethink, you know, some of the stuff that we thought it will be that way and there will be no alternative. So, yeah, I think that makes a big difference to question what, you know, what were the lessons when we were in our childhood, even in school, you know, even properly. I don't want to get political here, but even the education system is not really prepared for you to develop. It's prepared for you, you know, to be compliant more than anything else. So if you want to really do something fulfilling, it has to be your own choice. It's not something that
Mhm.
society will indicate you.
Yes, but you know, I learned through the years that I don't demonize anymore anything. Like, I don't demonize politics. I don't demonize the society.
You don't have to. There are demons already, so there's no even need to demonize them.
But you know, they are. But I don't take time to demonize that
Mm.
anymore, because with all the information we have just right now, and we have access to a lot, we have to be able to create our own, you know, environment, even if we are still part of the system. um, we are still able to create our own environment. You know, I read a book years ago. It's called Interview with the Devil by Neville
Mm.
Goddard. No, it's not Neville Goddard. It's Napoleon Hill. Sorry. Interview with the Devil. And it's a great, it has nothing to do with the devil that we imagine. And there is a really great sentence that marked my life forever. And it says, the human race has the ability to choose. That's the only freedom we have.
Mm.
Choose your own environment. But pay attention, by natural law, you have to be part of it. Does that make sense? Like we
Yeah,
have the freedom. That's the
it's very
only
wise.
freedom.
It's
You
very
can
wise.
choose your environment, where you want to live. But then be careful, because you know, you can find like a cheap rental somewhere that makes you feel comfortable paying things, okay? But in your head, you want a better life for yourself, okay? But if
Yeah,
you go and choose your environment in a cheap place because that's the money you have, you know, that's the regular life we live. But be careful, because when you choose that environment, okay, or an unhealthy environment or whatever, through the years, by natural law, you're gonna be part of it. That
yeah,
has nothing to do with you, because that's how nature works. So yeah, there you have to even if everything is demonized, let's don't demonize it anymore,
Yeah,
and just take the freedom to choose your own environment, even
yeah, yeah.
being part of society.
Yeah, I fully subscribe your words, and I tend to think that the people who complain about society, politicians, and all that, they are the most unhappy. Whereas those who are uh, dedicated to build themselves, great life and trying to explore the best of themselves, we don't particularly care about who was elected, what law is now in place. There are more relevant things. We know that they impact us, but we have bigger dreams than
Of course,
the demons, or the demons. That's the biggest difference.
you have to create peace in your around yourself. Now with all the wars like Ukraine and Israel and everywhere, um, people are commenting a lot through the TV and everything. But listen, you have to create peace around yourself. You don't speak with your mom. Like you demonize that war and you demonize everyone, but you have 10 years since your last time you speak with your mom.
Yeah,
Create peace around yourself, because you can't go there. You can go to the front and fight for one or to the other one, whatever. We have the freedom to choose with who want to defend. But you can you go there? No. Can I go there? No. What I can do is create peace around myself. Do I have a conflict with my coworker? So I'm going to work on that. That's how I contribute to peace
yeah.
in the world. Creating peace around myself, creating peace with the people that maybe I have a conflict, maybe something happened, or maybe you have a emotional problems because of your dad, and that you just go and fix that. That's how you contribute to peace.
Yeah, that
Don't
sounds to
demonize.
me very much Jordan Peterson lesson, that you're going to look
Oh, I
after
love
your
him.
room before you
Oh
go
my
to the road out there. So I was listening to you, and there were echoes of Jordan Peterson, and that's I had here in the notes, and I was sure we're going to talk about it. But that seems to me from someone who pays a lot of attention to his words, that look after yourself first, make sure your room is in order before going out there, and act like the savior. So I think you took Jordan Peterson very seriously.
my God, I love him. He I just love him, his words. Or maybe sometimes he can be controversial and people, not everyone loves him, but I think he's a great one. And he don't speak like he's not a motivational speaker, but I don't
Yeah.
demonize anyone. I told you, he he's a doctor who had a lot of patience. He
Mm.
learned from his patience. He learned everything he teaches us. He learned from his experience with all these patients, um, in all these psychiatric clinics that he used to work. He learned a lot from people who used to be dying, and he had these um, conversations with them. And I just love him. Like every word he says has a meaning for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 100%. And I think he's very useful for the youngsters, because sometimes I talk to people, uh, let's say in their 20s, late 20s, and I wish I was their age now, because they can hear those figures. I mean, I wish for many reasons. We all wish to be younger, huh? But one of them is the figures we see, on the internet, because they are so important. They will tell you things that you will never think about it if you will just listen to the neighbors or to the stuff
Mhm.
at school. I think internet, as you just said, the YouTube University, is
Oh yeah,
powerful,
oh,
really powerful. I
love it.
sometimes I talk to yeah, sometimes I talk to boys in their late 20s, and girls as well, mostly boys, because it's a peer-to-peer conversation, and they are so articulate. They know what they want, and they are not just fooling around. I mean, they do their mistakes, and sometimes they are not be proud of what they did on the weekend. Like, not everyone is perfect, but they are focused, and they are so orientated in a way we were never. It was just impossible. I mean, there were exceptions, but now there are more of those exceptions. than they were, let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it's for sure Jordan Peterson influence among other guys.
Of course. Now it's the best moment to learn. If you don't learn, you don't want to learn. Even if you don't have, like you don't have money to go to university, listen, you have access to everything. You want to learn a new language for free, Google University. You want to learn a new skill, just go there. But you need to take the time to investigate, to do your researches, to do your job, to do your homework, and go ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to figure it out. We didn't have access to all this information. We had to figure it out.
Yes, yeah. And you seem to be very good to learn. I think it's not unknown to Transylvania, because for the people out there, I know Transylvania was a huge cultural hub. Like sometimes when I research Hungarian writers, like from, let's say, the 19th century, 18th century, they turn out to be Romanians, they turn out to be Serbians, they turn out to be Ukrainians, they turn out to be Slovaks, Croatians, and so on and so forth. You know where I'm going with that. I don't remember their names because I'm sorry. I know Hungarian language is beautiful, but I'm not great with language myself, so I don't remember all their names. But I read like 3 Hungarian writers this year, and they all were born outside of what is now Hungary, and that tells a lot of how developed those areas were intellectually in the former Austro-Hungarian empire. So it's no wonder why you are this learning type and seeking knowledge and trying to make the best of information for your own development. What are your memories from living in Transylvania? Is there anything you want to highlight?
I think I missed you for a second. So what are my memories?
Yes, if there's anything you want to highlight from
of course.
Transylvania.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, if you mean cultural or
some experience, like, something you want to tell to the public.
We grow up under the communist dictator Ceausescu. It was great, and we used to have. We didn't have anything like Cuba just right now, maybe worse. But our parents were providers. That's how we learned to be providers. Our parents were native providers. We had everything from nothing, and we didn't take it for granted, anything, even the snow or the spring or the summer, or everything was so basic that we couldn't enjoy it and didn't take it for granted. And then I was the first generation of democracy. 10 years. I was 10 years old when he died, and we started to have access to have the chance to learn Hungarian, Romanian at the same time. Hungary started to recognize us a little bit later. Mixed families, learning from the Romanian foods, the Romanian culture. They used to come at home because till then, we had our struggles to being recognized as Hungarians. But yeah, we enjoyed it a lot. And I am from a small medieval, as I told you, city, which is beautiful with all this great architecture and the buildings. And we have a great Hungarian bibliothèque. You don't remember, but one of our best and my favorite Hungarian writer, his name is Jókai Mór. Beautiful, if you have the chance to. And then the Romanian one is Mircea Eliade.
Yeah.
He's
that one I know.
Just beautiful. So yeah, the culture, the literature, the food, the country, which is the nature, is beautiful.
Do you miss it, or are you fully settled in Spain?
Oh yeah, I missed it. I think I've been here for 17 years and never knew where I'm going to be stable. 2 years ago, I decided that I'm going to stable here in Spain. I had 15 years of didn't know if I'm going back home or I'm going to stay here. But
when you say home, is that Hungary or Romania, or is it
Romania.
Transylvania?
Romania, Transylvania. Yeah,
Do,
yeah. I never
uh,
lived in Hungary.
you never lived in Hungary, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think the massive Hungarian recognition started with Viktor Orbán. I think like 15 years ago or 20 years ago,
Exactly,
something like that.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, exactly. The massive one, yes. That's
yeah.
where we got the double
Nationality.
nationality. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big supporter of Hungarians in other communities. So
Yeah. He's a
he tries
smart.
to
He's
integrate them.
smart.
Yes, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, actually. So when I lived in Hungary I lived in Budapest for almost 4 years, and he was the prime minister back then, and people used to tell him, "Oh, you're gonna live in Hungary as a foreign, and look at your skin color, blah blah blah." Never had an issue. I was never an
Never.
object of racism, not at all. I was totally fine. I mean, I dealt with people who were not pleasant, but they're not pleasant because they were dealing with me. They're not pleasant because there was something wrong with themselves. So I never experienced anything outrageous of being a foreign in Hungary, not at all. And even if there were Orban supporters or or right wing or anything like that, I was totally fine. So it's a myth. It's a myth that you go there and you're going to be discriminated. I mean, you might
Never.
be on the back seat because you don't speak the native language, but that's part of the deal, because you're not that integrated. But no one will just ignore you because you are a foreign. That doesn't happen. I can tell you by my own experience.
Hungarian people are amazing. Are amazing. And as you said, if they struggle with themselves.
Yeah. That's a. I think that I find the Hungarians very specific. They are kind of nerdish culture, a bit like the French and the intellectual type. There's so many scientists. They go to US and they do well. They are innovative. They are intelligent. They are keen to learn. They are very, very, very smart people. I just wish, and now they're having more opportunities. Since communism, it's over, and they have a real democracy in place, because I think they fully deserve. They are very, very, very smart. Okay, they can be a bit dark and negative at times, and they make jokes out of that. So it's not me saying that's Hungarian nature. But overall, when you talk to a Hungarian, it's usually a positive experience, because it will be a lot to learn, a lot to exchange. So it will be a positive outcome.
Definitely. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I love them.
So what do you like about Spain since you decided to stay? What was it?
Oh, I love Spain. Spaniards are my favorite. I love Spaniards. Like, they are fun and they enjoy life like no one. And the the weather, of course, the food, and then even if you can get out from Spain to travel, you can travel around Spain and you think you change countries, because there's such a mix up. You can go to mountain, you can go to the sea, you can go to Navarra, you can go to Bilbao. I mean, it's amazing. It's Spain. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love the culture. I love the food. I love the weather. I love living in Madrid. I love the Spanish people. Love it. Sometimes I don't remember that I'm not Spaniard, because they
Yeah,
help me to take the step in the society with them.
that
Sometimes I
tells a lot.
forget.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That tells a lot of how integrated you are. If you even forget that you are not one of them, I think you couldn't give a best compliment for the Spanish people and for the country. And as you said, it's a huge country. It's so heterogeneous or diverse, that you can travel and experience so different things between
It's amazing.
the regions. Like, there is the seaside, then there is the mountains, then there is art, then there is food, then there is place in the middle of nowhere. It's great,
Yeah.
and the accents change a lot wherever you go. So
Yeah.
it's great. I love the richness of Spain. It's fantastic.
It is. It is. It is. I love it. Like, as you talk, and then we have this conversation. We are both citizens of humanity more than citizens of a
Yes,
country, right?
yes, yeah.
Right.
That's a big step when you decide to be part of the human species and not just belong to this tribe or the other, or you just speak whatever crew that makes sense in the moment. You just don't follow, instead of just following cards or badges, you just connect with people, and this will be your roommates for a specific reason. That's where you stay. And then let's say the day after you do something different, and that's how you develop yourself. I think that's very, 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 very positive. Yeah.
You have to be open to learn. Like, you have to be open to learn and give that space to others to teach you something. Otherwise it's you can develop yourself. Like, evolution is about that. Give the space to others to teach you things. You have to be open, because everyone has something to teach you, even if not the person, but the situation created by the person. You have to be aware about it, always. But sometimes the ego plays a really important place on that, and can block you from the opportunity to learn from others for that.
Yeah, absolutely. The ego stands on the way, and then you don't get to make the most out of the situation. I tend to say that every person is a lesson. So I think that's something that people can take away, that there is always something there when you are interacting with another individual. They might not tell you anything that you don't know, but they might tell you something about you that you ignored. So it's just a situation that will be a learning, not exactly the person, but the dialogue or the energy exchange you have with that individual that will make it that a lesson. But of course, for that you need to be open. So let me just go back to your life diary. That's something that I'm going to try to help the people to be interested in, because I think there's a lot of value. Like you just showed it is beautiful. I think it's a powerful tool. So I'm going to put, if you don't mind, a link in the description that people can order or ask questions. So I'm going to do my best to promote your work. So one is the journals, which are beautiful and very useful. Second is the yoga, which is key for people to connect themselves and understand what matters the most and what they can set aside for the moment. But there's one third piece that I don't want to avoid in this podcast, which is the journalism or journalistic workshops. And I don't know exactly what are those. Can you elaborate a bit?
Yeah. Well, actually, yoga and the journalist workshops, we put them together. I had the chance to meet a yoga teacher. Her name is Chris Llanos. You can see her in my yoga retreats also. You can share her link too. So 2 years ago, I started yoga. I was like a beginner. Like, when you start yoga, you have stretching problems. You can't follow the rhythm. Like, I struggled a little bit at the beginning. But then, as a disciplined and ambitious person, you don't give up. Even if you struggle, you just go and you take it day by day. And then I realized that after a few months, I started a relationship with my own body through breathing again. And my body was speaking to me like, today you can do more. Today you could be a little bit more relaxed. Don't force yourself. And I started to listen to my body. And with, of course, my yoga teacher, that she's amazing, she taught me all the tricks and all the breathing techniques to help my yoga, going better and better. So connect through yoga, you get in a relationship with your body, and then your relationship with others getting better. Because you can have a good relationship with the people around you while you have a bad relationship with yourself, right? With your body. And then connecting with my yoga teacher, I had this idea to organize a yoga retreat. I had some, with my travel business and working in the travel business, I had a great experience with it. So I only needed to connect the person with my project, my art life diary, and everything is connected. That's why I used to say, people, Olga, you are doing a lot of things, but everything is connected.
Yeah.
Not that I open a bakery and I do art life diary. You know what I mean? Everything is connected. So I just connected my yoga teacher with my yoga classes, with my journal, and with the travel business I used to work, and I have all this experience. And I said, I should organize a yoga retreat. So I just had a conversation with her, and I said, I would love to invite you to a yoga retreat that I would like to organize, where we're introducing journaling and how to teach people to start a journal. And she said, okay. So I had my first yoga retreat with yoga, journaling, breathing techniques, inviting her, and it was 100% success. And now we are partners now. We're gonna do our second yoga retreat with journaling and breathing techniques with her. So now we are partners. I don't invite her anymore. We got a project together, which we got a name, and we have all the new projects already included. Maybe I can tell you about it next time. But that's how everything is connected. That's why I have time for it, because if I do journaling, I can work on my yoga retreats too. Or if I do my yoga retreats, I still can include my journaling. And with all the experience of the travel business, so I connected everything. But yoga and meditation had a big impact to have the ability to connect everything.
So that's like a starting point. This time you take for yourself. I think it's powerful. Like I think if people set aside, say, 2, 5, 10 minutes every day, no more than that, just to sit with themselves, with no noise, or at least with a minimum of noise, with a minimum of interference, their days will be way better. It's just a life-changing. It's probably one of the best decisions that people can do, is to have 2, 5, 10 minutes for themselves, no matter what. And there are no excuses. Like, everyone can afford that with more or less struggle. I do in the morning, but let's say people can't do it in the morning. No problem. Do it lunchtime. Okay, lunchtime, I need to look after my kids. Okay, so do it when the kid goes to sleep. There are always opportunities. Okay, it can be more ideal, it can be less ideal, but everyone can do it. And then the more you do it, the more you benefit, and the more you will repeat it, because you see that it's essential for your future.
Yeah, by repeating it, you create a habit. But if you wake up at 7 o'clock to do all your things, if you wake up at 6:45, which are 15 minutes, will never give you more sleep, or there are 15 minutes. So you wake up at 6:45, and till 7 you do something for yourself.
Yeah, which in Spain, waking up at 6:45 is very, very early. Knowing the Spaniards, I remember when I stayed in an Airbnb in Barcelona. When was that? Maybe 5, 7 years ago. So I stayed in an apartment, and I just booked a room. And the girl, the host, she told me, "Oh, tomorrow I need to wake up very early because I have a meeting at my workplace, so I might be a bit noisy. So I want to apologize in advance." And I said, "It's fine. I know those things happen. Yeah, but it's going to be very early, so I need to wake up at 7." And I'm like, "Is it that early?" And I'm in Spain. I forget that detail. It's the same in Portugal, so I don't want to upset the Spanish people out there. It's the same in my home country. I wake up at 6 nearly every day myself. I think it's a huge benefit. It also changed my life completely. I also started during COVID, but let's not get into that, because it's already more than an hour. I know you are getting into your lunchtime, and I know that we could be here forever. That was my feeling when it started, and it's confirmed. Now we could be here forever. And I'm sure there'll be other occasions, there'll be more projects. I think next time we sit, you're going to tell me that you initiated this venture, and then we explored the other, and we'll be here we'll be here again, struggling with an hour. But that's part of the chat.
And we love it.
and we love it. Yeah. So look, thanks for the chat, Olga. It was great. I wish huge success for all your personal and professional and endeavors. And yeah, I'm sure everyone will benefit from getting that journal. I'm going to put the link in the description.
Thank you so much.
We will stay connected.
Thank you. Yes, I hope so. This is just only started, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you're only starting.
Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday, and have a great Sunday, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.